told y'all this was coming. The FCC commissioner under this administration has just requested the most sweeping control of the internet in the history of its 40-year existence. They have asked for total control of not just the internet companies and platforms to be able to shut them down and regulate them. They want full regulation of, quote unquote, the internet infrastructure in the United States of America. You laughed when it happened in Canada and said it had never come to America. Let me tell you something. This is being rushed and it is being implemented to a vote this coming week, within 1 week of the recording of this. Don't let it happen. This is the attempt to shut down voices just like this one, just like your voice. It is 1984, the book.
Do not comply with this next tyrannical government move, which just rolled out in Europe. We have unbelievable news over the past 24 hours out of Europe that the mainstream media, of course, is totally ignoring the story, which is, I'm sure, a surprise to you. When go to Bloomberg, go to the Financial Times, go to the Wall Street Journal, you won't find the story, which is, to me, unbelievable. Like, aren't they supposed to be covering the financial world? And this is at the heart of it, and they're totally ignoring the story. It could have massive implications for you and your family. Yes, this is about Europe, but it's coming to the United States as we speak because the Federal Reserve is actively working on the very same thing, and the Biden administration wants it. So if you think you're in America and you're safe from this, you're not. This has broad implications, and you should see Europe, frankly, as a cautionary tale because we are watching the EU collapsing in real time. And today we got our clearest sign yet. The European Parliament voted to roll out the digital identification program. Now, the European Parliament and member states just reached an agreement on introducing the digital identity, the EID, which includes a digital wallet. Unless it gets miraculously voted down, which is highly unlikely, unless you somehow, guys, rise up and take action. If you're anybody watching in Europe right now wants to, write to your members of parliament, let them know that you do not stand for this. But most people will wait until the pain is too great and it's already passed to do anything about it. That's usually what happens. And this will pass, and it will soon take over everyone's lives in the European Union. Now, you have to understand, they are wrapping this in like a burrito of convenience, that your life will be dramatically improved because your digital passport will keep everything nice and neat for you, tidy in one digital ID, right? It sounds great. And that's how they'll sell it to you. Your central bank digital currency, your biometric data, your medical records, all of your personal information, your whereabouts, your movement through GPS, all of it being tracked instantaneously and verified by the government. Of course, most troubling is the central bank digital currency, and that's the big piece of this, the digital euro. Rob Roos, of course, member of the European Parliament, is standing strong against this. He just left the meeting, and he posted this video on social media to warn all of us about what comes next. Watch.
I just left the room where we had the negotiations about the digital identity, and I have bad news. The member states and the European Parliament came to an agreement. That means that probably not far from now, the digital identity will be effect in the European Union. Right after this agreement, Commissioner Breton said, now we have the digital identity wallet, we have to put something in it. And what he meant was the digital euro, also known as the central bank digital currency. And this is a very bad development. They always promise us not to make this connection. And even a lot of experts, privacy experts and security experts, warned also last week this is a very bad idea for our privacy and our freedom. And still, this digital identity is pushed through. But it's not too late, because we still have to vote on this in the plenary. So what you can do, send your MEP from your member state an email and tell him or tell her that you are against this tool.
So that's what we can do, or wait until the pain is there. And that's usually what people do. After it's already passed and is put into law, then people will rise up and complain about it. And then it's too late. So now, if you happen to be in Europe, you can absolutely do something about this. And again, you can also take action now in the United States and let your member of Congress know that you absolutely do not want a digital ID backed with a central bank digital currency. They're moving towards it. And they're taking away cash and getting rid of ATM machines. I just want to highlight something, though, that he said about Thierry Breton, who said that we now have a digital wallet, so we have to put something in it. Right? That was the message coming out of this. And he said absolutely not. And what he means, of course, is the central bank digital currency. We've been warning against this for more than a year now on this show, and it is happening. As Catherine Austin Fitts just said, this is all about controlling everything you do. Make no mistake. Listen.
Where is this leading?
When you have a 100%, what they're shooting for is an all digital system. And if you have a 100% digital system, that can be controlled centrally. And not only can your money be limited to different, geographical areas or spatial areas, but it can also be limited to, sort of what you can buy, when you can buy it. And it can literally tax you without your permission. You can install a system of taxation without representation. But ultimately, Polly, you can implement complete control, because let's say I want to mandate a vaccine. You can't, your financial transaction ability can be turned off. Your access to your financial assets can be denied or stopped if you don't do what you're told.
Shalom, Kahala Yahawah, Bashem Yahawashi, Bashem Qadash. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, who the house of David reborn again in this generation. And shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage, we were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about this new bill that they're going to be voting on, I believe, in the Senate. And what it's going to entail is the takeover of the internet infrastructure here in the United States. Now, what we also watched is that over in the EU, which biblically is known as the beast, they've already implemented this digital ID system. Now, this eventually is going to go through. There's nothing we can do about it, Akim. This is prophecy playing out in front of our eyes. And what do I mean by that? Well, again, we all know that the mark of the beast, which is going to be an RFID implantable microchip that goes in your hand or in your forehead, is going to be pushed out by these devils. Now, for that mark to have the ability for you to buy and sell, and that if you don't have it, that you'll be basically excluded from the society, it has to be tied in to the systems of commerce and identity that we currently use. But to do that, they have to set up a digital system for that mark to work within. And that's what we are seeing happening right now. This is why it doesn't matter, what was it, like almost in 2016, I think it was when they brought out the SOPA laws, where they were going to try to take over the internet back then, and then everybody kind of rose up, even the internet companies, and then the internet companies basically got a sweetheart deal, and then they eventually ended up passing a form of the laws. Well, you see, now that they're getting closer to pushing forward their agenda, they need to get certain things in place. And this is why you're seeing these laws being rushed through. And again, they said it's going to be voted on, I believe, the 15th, which is next Wednesday. So there's about a week before this goes through. And again, this system of control that they're going to put over the internet is going to ultimately be the framework that's going to be needed. So that way you'll need to have an ID system, which will let you get online, because again, you won't be able to get online without it. You won't be able to get paid without the certain ID. You won't be able to leave reviews or buy anything without these internet IDs. Again, all anonymity on the internet is going to go away. So what have we told you, Akim? We've told you that this was going to come, that there was going to be an internet driver's license that Esau was going to ultimately initiate, which is ultimately going to tie into the mark of the beast. And you don't have to look any further than over in China, because in China they have this system. You can't get online, you can't buy things without having some sort of digital ID. This is all part of these devils' plan. This is 2 Corinthians 2:11. Least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And that's ultimately what this is, Akim. It is the system that is being set up around us that these devils, these Edomites, when I say Edomites, I'm talking about the so-called Caucasian race, which is ruling the world right now, hope that they will be able to set up so that way they could then entrap and enslave the rest of the world, so that way they can continue their own rulership. This is Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. And here, for example, is a full-page ad taken out by a VPN company that called out some of these devils that basically voted away your rights, that decree those unrighteous decrees. It tells you here, it says, hello world, these are the 50 senators who voted to monitor your internet activity for financial gain, right? And these are all these Edomites, right? And if they're not Edomites, they're tied into the system, right? This is Esau's system, where he pretends like there's freedom, but ultimately when they want to have their way, they create laws, they sway rules. Basically they get their way, and they do it all under the cover of their legal system, which again, when you understand that the legal system that they set up for the rest of us, it's not the same for them, right? So it tells us, here's what will happen if this becomes law. Your internet service provider will be able to monitor you, manipulate what you see, sell it all. It says, call your House of Representatives and tell them to vote against HJ Res, or House Jury Resolution 686. Now ultimately this is that old one from a long time ago, but this right here just shows you that these devils, this is just par for the course for them. They always are doing this. And again, it doesn't matter if people have come out in mass and protested to let them know that they don't want this. They'll go ahead and, fade away for the moment, but then a couple of years pass and they'll be right back with the law under a new name and new amendments to it, and then they'll rush it through, like exactly what they're doing right now. And what is this going to ultimately create? Well, it's going to create the famine of the word, because what's going to happen when everything is going to be monitored online, and then you're going to basically be jailed for speaking the truth. Again, right now the Israelis are trying to make anti-Semitism speech, which is a total BS narrative. They're trying to get people arrested or pass laws to get people arrested for that, right? You can already see what's happening over there in France, right? This is Amos 8:11. Behold, the days come, saith the Yahawah B'Shem power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahawah B'Shem. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from north even to the east, and they shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahawah, and shall not find it. In that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst. So you see, and the reason where he says this is because there's going to be no more living water going around, right? The truth, this truth, videos like this, the videos from the apostles and the other Akim out there that are teaching the same truth, they're going to take our videos down. And again, it's not just going to be from YouTube, but it's going to be from all over the internet. You see, once these devils get full control of the net, they're going to have some sort of monitoring system, which I'm sure they already have it in place, or at least they have plans on how they're going to initiate it, but there's going to basically be the internet police, and they're going to go around and they're going to basically take down all offending material that's offending to Esau's narrative. And you know that includes this truth. So like it says, that people are going to be wandering from place to place, going all over the place, trying to find these lessons, trying to find the breakdowns of the Bible, and then you're going to be able to find it, right? They're going to remember that, hey, this brother was, we always see this guy out on Saturdays. He's always here at this location. Or we see a group of guys out here teaching the Bible. They're down here at the boardwalk. And they're going to be going all over looking for us. But they ain't going to find us. And why is that? Well, because, you see, the Lord is going to cause the famine of the word. See, there comes a time when the Lord has closed the mercy seat. And he's no longer going to be extending his salvation to the world. And it's going to be time for him to bring forward that judgment. And this is the time that we're coming upon. This is what we're seeing happening, Akim. See, once all these laws go into place, where it basically makes it impossible to teach these lessons, right? When the apostles basically say no more, then it's a wrap. We ain't gonna be out here teaching. We ain't gonna be able to create lessons. The only way that you're going to be able to hear this word is if you're connected, or married, or you have a prophet in your family. And even at that point, they may not even want to speak. But again, it's we're gonna have to find out how it's all gonna go down. But we know the broad strokes, like the Bible tells us here, man, that the Lord is going to cause a famine of the word. The Lord's gonna remove these lessons, this truth, from the world once everybody's been marked and has heard this message. Okay? And at that point, it's just going to be a matter of waiting for prophecy to play out and for events to fall in line. But again, until then, this is why you got to be very diligent in getting this truth, understanding it, right? Writing down these scriptures, understanding the breakdowns, and asking the questions that you need to know before it's too late. This is Isaiah 55:6. Seek ye Yahawah b'Hashem Yahawashi while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. And let him return unto Yahawah, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our power, for he will abundantly pardon. So there it is, Akim. Right? We're coming upon times where getting this truth is going to start becoming a chore, right? It's going to be a miracle to find a good lesson, right? This is why, if you have the ability, you should probably go out and save your favorite videos, your favorite lessons, right? You're going to want to, make notes about where certain things are. Save the images that you come across. Because again, once these devils finally take over the internet, which they will, because Esau, he's bleeding too much, right? Too much of the truth is coming out, and he's leaking, and he needs to stop it at all costs, even if it comes at the cost of freedom of speech and the illusion of liberty, right? These devils don't care anymore, man. They want to stop all this truth from going out. Just look at what's going on right now in Israel. These devils don't care what anybody says. They're continuing to do the wickedness and the evilness that are being shown on videos. And they don't care, because again, this is their time to go full throttle. What does the scripture say? That they should go from house to house, sparing none. See, that's what these devils are going to do. They're going to be sparing none. They're not going to care what laws they break. What did Netanyahu say? Right? That there's going to be a time to talk about what's going on, and people are going to have to answer questions, even him, but not right now. Right now they got to take care of business. See that? So either way, Akim, hopefully this video was edifying. Until next time, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahawah b'Hashem Yahawashi b'Hashem Qadash. Shalom.